And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, number 45. Oh my god, it has been it has been a while here. It's been a whole week since our last tournament, and yeah, it's okay. Wait, do I have a? Can I? It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. As we're getting into this, as we're diving into our first series here, and you know what? Let's just introduce our lovely players. And it's okay. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our pink Zerg player. We have a tournament organizer herself, representing the Platinum Heroes. Oh my god, I didn't even realize. Joining a new team, it is Hatsu. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have her opponent. We have the blue Terran player, usually a Zerg, but here he is off racing as Terran, representing Platinum Esports. It is Eva. Here we go. So again, just quickly setting that up, but yeah, for a long time Hatsu was, I believe, on her own team, but now has since joined Platinum Heroes. Great to see that again. Platinum Heroes they have always been supportive of even some lower league players and the lower ranked players, which is why we see Iba off racing. Again, Iba, he's a bit of an animal. He does off race quite often on his own streams. So if you check out his main stream, if you check out his Twitch channel, you will see Iba whip out the Protoss and the Terran from time to time. We have had the unfortunate reality of casting Iba's off race, and it's okay. It's okay, you know, we have seen him go toe-to-toe with some of the other pro players out there, but of course, still a Zerg player at heart. We'll see how he can make use of his Terran, though, as is going for the ACV Scout, is confirming the Hatch Gas Pool standard opener of Hatsu. So far, standard opener. Meanwhile, as we settle into our first series, as we settle into our tournament, a big shout out to Demonesia TV. Oh my god. Thank you so much here. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great cast. I'm assuming there was a cast going on. For those who are unaware, Demonesia is a Finnish caster and a Finnish streamer. So thank you so much. Shout out to Div, and there we go. Big shout out, much love, much support, as the first Reaper has since arrived. First Reaper has arrived. We're going to be dancing between these bases here, looking for a way in. So far, again, it's been a standard opener out of Hatsu, just going to be joining, just taking a third base. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have Eva setting up for his 1-1-1. I'm assuming it's going to be, yep, a starport before the CC, so a much more aggressive build here from Eva. Is going to be delaying his third base in favor of aggression, in favor of an army. And we'll see how we can really come about this. We'll see how we do bring this all together and how committed we are, as Hatsu is going for an early roach war. Okay, so we are spicing it up on both sides. We have Eva, of course, getting into his 1-1-1, getting into potentially a Banshee-based opener. Meanwhile, Hatsu working on a roach rush. Now, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm concerned for Hatsu because if we did go for an add-on swap, if we go for something like Banshees, then that is going to be ideal against defending against a Roach Rush. That's if we go for the add-on swap. No, we are not. We're going Hellion into Liberator, not into Banshee. This all-in from Hatsu can work. We can pull this off. Again, I'm assuming it's an all-in just because the Roach Warren has been hidden. We have cut drones here at 33. We are taking an extra gas geyser here just so we can afford ourselves, just so we can afford said roaches. Queens are bullying back. Again, nothing to protect here at the third base. So really nice positioning here out of Hatsu. Ooh, it looks like the larva is going to be shut down. So some losses are going to be occurring here, but regardless, Hatsu is building up roaches here as we speak. And Iba, does he catch wind of what's going on? The larva is barely going to be saved, some of it at least. Hellions are forced back. No saturation. Eba should recognize that back at home. What do we have? We have a bunker on the way. Safety bunker. Marauder production has commenced as well. Very nice. Very important here that we mass Marauders as quickly as possible. Hellions are moving out, and Hatsu's getting ready for her all-in. Now, when it comes to this all-in, we have to hold back those Lings. The Lings are very fragile units. As we can see here, a couple of Lings are getting shaved off. We have to keep those Lings back, push forward with the Roaches, lead the charge here, as it's going to be on Eba to pick away at this army and just shave off whatever he can before the all-in gets underway. So Eba just slowing it down, getting a couple of pot shots in. Hellions being forced back. Third CC is on the way. Liberator soon to arrive in the main base. Ooh, getting some getting some drone kills. 4 drones already. A lot of damage being dealt. We can morph in Ravagers, by the way. We can go for the Ravagers. For now, they're going to be dragged over towards the left-hand side again. Eba just picking away at all these Lings. Lings are going to eventually be going down, but the Roaches are pushing towards that natural base. We do have a second bunker, and we have 2 Marauders. 2 Marauders about to be 3. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Eba. All he has to do is hold. All he has to do is defend. Ooh, and back at home, Hatsu down to 28 drones. Ay, ay, ay. Barely an economy. The Ravagers have arrived. The Ravagers, they have made it. Hellions are finally going down, and with these Ravagers, we can bring down that first Liberator. We do have some Cyclones. Again, the Cyclone has been nerfed, not as strong as it once was. Queens have arrived. But again, it feels like this all-in is quite late. It's quite delayed. And we cannot wait, not any longer. As again, Hatsu's still amassing her army. And there we go, we are pushing in. Bile's gonna be on the bunker, not on the Liberator. And we will break through that first bunker, but there's a second bunker. We got a Hellion, we have Cyclones. Ooh, one of the Queens goes down. And Hatsu, we're running out of steam, at least a little bit. Solid Biles, oh! Ooh, they barely do not bring down the Liberator. Able with a quick unsiege. Liberator is gonna survive a little bit longer here before it goes down. And again, does Hatsu have enough? The repairs are a little bit too good. The bunker does survive. The bunker lives, and Eba, can he keep it up? Can he keep it going here? So far, a couple of SCVs get focused down, but the bunker refuses to burn down. And yeah, we're running out of steam. We're running out of units here. We're down to 3 Ravagers and 2 Roaches. Sorry, 3 Roaches even. And the bunker will not fall. Tank arrives, and Eba has held. GG gets called, and Eba will take game number 1. GG. Again, a solid defense there out of Eba, and unfortunately, it took a little bit to really get going when it came to the all-in. When it came to the push of Hatsu, it took a little bit too long, and likewise, it wasn't just how long it took, but also the fact that the economy was crippled. We had a Liberator harassing across the map, and we had enough time to build up a second bunker to get into Cyclone production as well. Again, when you're all in, you gotta go. Like, you're on a timer. You have to end it as soon as possible. Eba just was given too much time there to recover, and GG. Eba takes the first game. Eba does take the first game, but now we're getting into game number 2. As a reminder, !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. I didn't really get to talk about the event, but welcome everyone, welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. This is your weekly dose of tuna action, and what does that even mean? This is an event hosted by us, the Cranky Ducklings. It is a weekly open tournament. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what rank, what league, what MMR, or what country. This is open to all players. As a result, especially because of the time slot that we usually host this event in, we actually have Koreans, we have Southeast Asians, Europeans, and even sometimes some Americans as well. This is like a nice little middle ground time slot for the Oceanic region, the Korean region, and the European one. The only downside here is that this event is at a bad time slot for the Americas players. So players from Latin America and North America as well. So we very rarely get players from the Americas, but we always champion them. We always give them a little love because it's great to see that kind of representation whenever we get it. But again, usually it's Korea, Southeast Asia, and Europe getting involved. And we'll have a look at the brackets after this series. For now, though, we're diving into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Blue Terran from the land of the UK. Usually a Zerg player, but here he is as a Terran. It is Eba. Eba. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. Pink Zerg, it is Hatsu. Again, you should be a little bit familiar with Hatsu, a little bit less so as a player, but more so as an event organizer and caster. Hatsu does cast in her own native language and does host events like the Hatchery Cup, was one of the big names behind the Christmas Cup, as well as the New Year's Cup as well. So it's been really cool to see Hatsu Again, just be a big part of the community, be a big part of the scene when it comes to organizing events and also casting events as well. So much love there. Meanwhile, Iba is a player. Iba, he's an up-and-comer, one of the youngest, or the youngest GM in the world. Was what was he, like 12 or something, or 11 when he hit GM for the first time? The youngest recorded GM player, and still a very young player in his own right. Has a lot of potential, is a bit of a prodigy, but he also likes to off-race whenever possible. He's a little bit cocky at times, and we have seen him off-race against some big names and get punished for it. So we'll see if Hatsu can punish Iba here, as we do have a pool first. Oh, we're going for a Roach Rush, a much faster one. Okay, it is going to be a pool first, a pool gas opener here out of Hatsu. Delayed hatchery. Iba, does he see? I mean, he saw the lings. Yep, he saw the timing of the hatchery. He knows. He's aware of the rush on the way. Now, this does look like a 12 pool. Like, it does look like a standard 12 pool. He is unaware of how committed this all-in will be, or even if it is an all-in. So Iba is stuck at home. Iba, skip the Reaper. Uh-oh. Iba, he skipped the Reaper, went for a Marine first instead, which means Iba has zero scouting information, has no idea what's going on. So I do apologize. You can hear me struggling a little bit with my voice and muting every now and then. I am still sick. For those that are curious, I got sick a week ago. Basically, ever since I returned to Australia, I've been unwell. I'm recovering and I'm getting better, but I do have to mute every now and then as I'm coughing my lungs out. But regardless, Iba, he's in the dark as to what's going on, is going for a second Rax, thankfully, working towards that reactor as we speak. But as he's working with nothing but Marines, we're amassing the army. Roaches are walling across the map. Lings are amassing as well. Hatsu getting ready to pull the trigger and to go for that all-in. Now, it's going to be a Ling flood with Ravagers. These Roaches, they should be morphing into Ravagers. With the help of these Ravagers, we can bust through into the main base. There is going to be a bunker on the high ground. Iba is prepared to evacuate the natural base. At least the bunker will help. But again, we have 3 Marines. We don't have a lot of firepower here. We're still working on add-ons. There's no Cyclone. There's no factory. Sorry, there's no Cyclone. There's no tank. Lings have arrived. Roaches reveal themselves. No Ravagers, though. Bear that in mind. Hatsu sticking with Ling Roach. I assume the Ravagers will be on the way. The wall has been revealed. Hatsu does deny the natural, but this is not good enough. And now the Ravagers are on the way, but this does feel a little bit late. Oh, and Hatsu's droning. Ooh, okay, we are droning up behind this. There we go. We have 3 Ravagers being morphed in, but again, these Ravagers, they do feel a little bit delayed. Because they're delayed, we have a second bunker on the way, and Iba, he has more time to react. He has more time to respond. Interesting choice here. Biles on that orbital. The Overlord, I believe, is out of position. So normally we would bring the Overlord over just so we can have high ground vision to lay siege upon the wall. But we're keeping the Overlords pinned back instead. So it looks like Hatsu plans on droning. Interesting. So I'm not 100% convinced by this, just because usually when we're all in like this, we cut so many workers. Like Hatsu has 20 drones compared to the 32 SCVs. We are so far behind in the economy. We have a lot of droning to do, which is why usually we would just double down and pull the trigger and commit to the all-in. Instead, trying to transition out of the all-in here, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to accomplish here. So Hatsu, even though she's denying the natural, is not out of the woods yet. Overlord pokes forward, but we do have the bunker in position. Hatsu can bile it down, or can threaten it with biles. Tanks are amassing. Medevacs are on the way. Ooh, that's dangerous. Now, with the arrival of these medevacs, I believe it's lined up with the stim. With stim, which means we can go for some drop play, and Hatsu has very little at home to defend. Back at home again, we're droning. We have a lair on the way. Ooh, this could even lead into 2 base Spire and 2 base Mutas, just to contain even further. As the tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. Again, Iba re-establishing that natural. Medevacs are out. Stim is done in 10 seconds. And with the completion of Stim, Iba, he can fight this. He can dance with this army. Biles, they don't quite connect. Lair is done. We are taking additional gases. Again, usually 12 pool like Roach Rush does lead into Ravagers, and so far, oh, the Ravagers, they do hold on. Oh, but a lot of Lings go down. A very efficient trade here by Iba. Gets an Overlord, gets 2 Overlords. 2 Overlords, 2 Ravagers. Oh, a big supply block here for Hatsu. 4 more overlords on the way. And Hatsu has to back off, has to retreat back. Oh no, the overlords! No! They're rallying in towards their deaths. And thankfully, Iba is going to ignore them, is going for his own double drop across the map. But back at home, again, we don't really have much to work with because of the supply block. And we barely do have that army. Yeah, the overlords, they are caught out by reinforcements. 2 more overlords go down. Again, the rush distance by ground on Ghost River is insanely short, which does make sense as to why Hatsu would go for an all-in initially. But as we mentioned before, transitioning out of an all-in is not an easy thing to do. Yeah, so there we go. We focus down the third base. There's no saving it. Good target firing here on the Banelings. Whilst they graze the army. They graze the army, but again, there's no slowing Iba down as he gets into the main base. Does focus on the queens. And it looks like Iba is going to eventually be forced out of the main, but again, this has been a very efficient, very effective drop so far. Hatsu trying to get into bailing speed, trying to amass up an army here on 2 bases, but Iba is dwarfing that army. How many tanks? We have 4 tanks, 30 marines, 4 medevacs. Iba sees the army, the miles. Ooh. They do connect. Only 2 ravages though, so the medevacs do survive. We try to collapse in the army, but again, that is 4 tanks. That's just far too much firepower, and Iba is snowballing out of control. This ramp is narrow. We can try to hold here, but we barely have an army to work with. And GG is going to get called. And Iba will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Iba as he does advance on into the next round. My condolences to Hatsu, but regardless, that was a really good series. That was a really good effort. Overall, I liked the builds, especially on Ghost River. I do think that there was a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential there for Hatsu. But unfortunately, again, I do think that we second-guessed ourselves. We backed off. Did second guess ourselves, and again, we spoke about it, about how it's so difficult to drone out of that kind of all-in. So difficult to drone out of it, and in the end, Iba was able to come out on top. But regardless, GG, well played. And with that, we can actually take a moment here. We can take a moment to have a look at the bracket. ! B. But before we do,